What's up, folks? Blaze Thompson. It's Friday, it's noon, and it's time for Food Chart Fridays live. Welcome back this week. Looking forward to talking about several things. Our topic for the week will be where to start on this journey of wellness, and specific today with your nutrition. And from there, we're going to look at real people on the streets once again, what we're seeing with our clientele on the ground. Let me start off by saying I teach a 1, 2, 3 approach to balanced fitness. 1 day a week to plan and execute your nutrition. It's number one for a reason, because it's most important. You're spinning your wheels if you're not putting in good nutrition. 2 days a week minimum of strength training will get you results, and 3 days a week of cardio minimum will get you results. You put those three together, the synergy and balance of them working together always deliver you to a healthy body fat percentage every single time. And if something isn't working in that matrix, it's because there's definitely something off with one of those three. This week we're going to talk about where would you start on this journey. But for now, let's go ahead and go to the food charts. You know, we've had a lot of things go down this week. Here, honestly, it's been an emotional morning here at the gym for me myself. We finished up a little base camp, boot camp that we had some great results there. This was a week of results at the end of the first month of the year. You know, everybody jumps back into fitness. We had lots of assessments all week. We've seen lots and lots of inches, body fat percentages, and weight come down. And when I say that collectively across the board, I teach realistic goals and expectations. I am not a crash course guy. I'm about consistency. I preach that doing the minimum gets you maximum results over time. Those results would be 1 pound a week of weight loss is healthy weight loss. 2 pounds a week is the max you can lose. So if we're looking at a year, realistically, that's about 50 pounds in 1 year. And setting goals at 2 per week for that entire year, 100 pounds, I personally don't think that's super realistic. And there's lots of bullshit that gets thrown at you from the fitness industry because people want you to buy something. And there's also a lot of people who lose a ton of weight and then gain all that weight back because they don't buy into a lifestyle. They buy into a system that, once again, was built to sell you something, but doesn't really teach you how to change your habits 1 rep, 1 meal, 1 moment at a time. And that's what this is about. That's what we do. So we had lots of people lose 4 to 8 pounds. Because 1 to 2 pounds is realistic weight loss. We had lots of people lose 1 percentage point to 2 percentage points in body fat. That's 0.25% is healthy body fat loss in 1 week. 0.5% is awesome body fat loss in 1 week. So if you're losing 1 to 2% body fat per month, you're cruising and doing great. And then we had some inches come off like crazy. Had some folks lose 7 inches. Anywhere from 4 to 7.5, 8 inches was the average inch loss for people who are coming back in the new year. So with that, I want to pause and express some gratitude and say thank you. Because I have been grinding this month in the gym, getting in here, training people in the mornings, training people late in the evenings. It's been really beautiful to see people show up for themselves. And it's also been really beautiful for me. Yesterday, I took a moment to take a break and realize, like, wow, this self-care thing permeates other parts of our life, just like I preach. And by sitting still for a little bit of time with myself, it helped me be able to re-engage for today and be more available once again. But I'm so very grateful to get to do what I do for a living. There's so many things, whether it's nutrition, strength training, or cardio, that are metaphors for what we do in the other quadrants of health, our emotional, spiritual, and mental health as well, by showing up and consistently doing the minimum to get maximum results. An example, last night I had a workout that I did not want to do going into it, but I knew if I just took that first step, then that would accumulate over time. And sure enough, I got started on that bad boy. I was dreading it beforehand, and about halfway through, the music hit, the endorphin rush hit a little bit because it was an interval routine, and boom, when it was over, I was extremely grateful. And that's the same thing that goes on with these food charts, 1 meal at a time. So first, we're going to talk about some people who did a really good job. These are some boot campers that we have here. I want to name these two right here. We're going to go Emily S. and Sarah F. Both of them have great charts. And what I like about these charts, with Sarah's chart in particular, she got an A- here. You notice these lines across the sheet. What does that mean? That means she was consistent. If you remember what we talked about last week with our big tips for success, being consistent was one of the major ones. So she either listened to the video or she just decided, hey, I'm going to make it easy for myself. And she ate the same thing at the majority of her meals. And then she had fun. Look, the girl drank a freaking box of wine. I mean, let's blow that out of the water. But it was one of her 2 big misses. I say you get 2 misses a week. For me, a miss might be something nasty. I might do a little Bojangles with a little brownie at the end because I don't drink alcohol. I'm retired, right? But if that's your thing, then get nasty and then get back on the train 3 hours later and get your protein the way you're supposed to. So very proud of her. Another one here that I want to look at, Emily S. She has got some real consistency with her food here as well. She's working on getting her carbs down. She's including protein in each of her meals. She's really made an effort across the board to get her vegetables in. There's lots of color on this chart. It's great. Next, we're going to look at a boot camper here from the gym. This is going to be a lady named Beth, who's done a great job overall with her chart through the course of camp. She'd taken a boot camp before. She did really well for about a year on her own, 1.5 years, and then she gained a lot of the weight she lost back. When she got back into boot camp, she knew the directions. Boom, she started following them right off the bat. This lady, honestly, was one of the reasons this morning, though, that I was a little emotional at the end of our boot camp. And that is, every time a boot camp or a program that I run ends, I always wonder what's going to happen after camp with this individual. You know, the goal of what we teach here is empowerment. I want to give away skills. That's why I do Food Chart Fridays live, so I can talk about what works with people on the ground. And from there, you can apply it at home. I offer you the opportunity to write down your food and turn it into me. You can email me, blazethm@gmail.com. We'll go over it right here for free and give you my opinion based on my experience, which is what we teach. This lady's done a great job. She lost 9 pounds. She took off 7.5 inches. She brought her body fat percentage down by 2.5%. She's crushing that matrix we talked about of the pounds per week and the percentages per week. My concern is what's going to happen after this, because I have seen a trend of her doing really well and then disappearing and falling off the mountain. And so, you know, what she told me today was, I'm going to go back to doing it on my own, which I think is great. She's empowered and wants to do it on her own, and fantastic. But I don't want her to just disappear again. So I really, you know, because I wear my heart and soul right here, and you can see it on my face. I was like, you're going to do what? You're going to, after all, where we've come and what you've seen in the past, you're going to disappear. You know, that's my concern. And so I was able to talk her into some accountability going forward. So we're going to touch base. We're going to hopefully see each other a little bit more in this next month so we can build some consistent strength training routines that she can take with her. And then from there, we're going to check in once a month and keep body fat testing her, because she's still got a good, I'm not going to throw the number, but let's say it's a high double digits number amount of weight that she needs to lose. And she's tried this before, and I just don't want to see her repeat. We got to pay attention to the patterns in our life. And that's exactly what I'm going to talk about in a few minutes when I talk about our topic of the day, where to start. Okay? So overall, I'm incredibly proud of her consistency. I'm incredibly proud of her results, because she put in the work. I just get to watch. That's my fun part of my job. Bear crawl, and I will watch an ass up in the air crawling past me. You know what I mean? It's great. But with that, what are you going to do long run? Is this really something you're dedicated to? And do you know who you are? You may just need to be a person who needs accountability, who needs that check. I mean, that's why we're all here on this planet together anyway. Let's let our help us. Right? So the next one we're going to look at, this is a guy that's one of our adult programs. And I was going to start a men's weight loss challenge. We've got several men that we train that show up consistently to work out, but that need to lose weight, and they're a little bit of a denial about it. You've heard dad bod before. That means you got, you know, most men will store fat in their belly. And this guy, I've tried to talk to him about food charts several times over the year about body fat percentage. He's worked on it a little bit here and there, but his body fat percentage needs to come down. So I want to give props to Steve B, because he has started writing down his food and turning it into me each week by hand, and he's become consistent. Now, Steve is not worried about the number on the scale. What he said, he's worried about how he fits in his clothes. And realistically, that's beautiful to me. The big thing I want to see is people comfortable in their skin and not worrying about that scale. I encourage my clients to weigh 1 time a week. Don't beat yourself up with that damn scale. And this guy's more worried about how his clothes fit, how he feels in his skin, which I think in some ways is even a bigger level of wellness. if we look at the motivation. If it's a fear factor because you don't want to look at the truth, that's one thing. But for him, it's not. We weighed him in and body fat tested him at the beginning of this. We're going to do it at the end of the month. Between then and there, he just wants to follow directions. So you'll see all these things written at the bottom. This is where he's made his meals consistent, and he's numbered them at the top. I did B1 or B2. So B2 for him is an egg whites, green peppers, with 1 slice of Canadian bacon. He's getting his proteins in. He's getting in some green vegetables. So by creating some consistency, he is starting to see results, which is fantastic. All right, so got 3 more sets of charts. Real quick, these 2 guys right here are a frickin' trip. That was a frickin' just for you. I had some calls about me using the F word. But look, I'm going to bring the F word when the F word is necessary. And one of these people needs a frickin' F word, so I might just hold one back. Long story short, I call these guys the snowball effect, both of them. Because when you eat crappy and then you skip meals, this shit, ooh, snowballs. It's just a fact. I posted this on my Instagram this week. This is Dr. Cocoa Pebbles right here. This gentleman ate Cocoa Pebbles right there for dinner. He also wrote down apple turnover, 2 Oreos, potato chips, pizza, chicken wings, pizza, chicken. I mean, the dude is off the chain. And I want you to see the pattern, because this is going to lead to what we talked about earlier. Patterns in our life. You have 49 opportunities to do the right thing on this chart. This dude has over 36 misses and 49 opportunities. And if you notice, if you're missing meals early, it's going to lead to more circles down on the end of the day. He's got circles all through here. Because what he's doing, he's saying, I'm not going to feed my system. And then when I do feed it, I'm going to go to town and try to get as much in as I can. This is survival mode eating. That's what this is. And it's also, because when he brings this in, he kind of laughs and makes jokes about it. It's a little bit of denial going on about where you are and real health, all right? And if I'm keeping it real, this guy's got a history of heart disease in his family. He's had a very close family member pass away very young as a result of that. And so we're going to have that tough conversation next week whenever we talk about this chart, because it's not a joke in the end. You know, in reality, I take care of myself because I love myself, and I'm an example for those around me as well. And this right here, there's something going on with that many circles on a piece of paper. It's just a fact. So the beautiful thing about this sheet is he wrote down the truth. By telling the truth, you begin to get the awareness to actually make a change. It may take a couple more weeks, like we said, but he's moving in the right direction by writing it down. Same thing with this chart here. Lots of yellow marks. You can't quite see the highlights, but this gentleman is missing his snacks like crazy in the days, and he's choosing lots of carbs. I mean, we got 2 banana pancakes with peanut butter syrup. We got noodles. We got beers. We got pistachio. We got cookies at night, bourbon at night most nights, sandwiches, cookies, and Lay's chips in the middle of the day. He's eating these meals that slow his metabolism down, that also create these gaps in his diet. When you consistently put in that protein, your metabolism is working the whole time. It's going to not make you feel quite as hungry, right? And you're going to be less likely to eat crappy foods when you start getting those snacks in. And at the same time, you won't be craving all this food late in the day because you put that consistent nutrition in across the day. All right, now, here's the badass goodness that I wanted to show you. Look at these 4 charts. All right, boom. This is one guy. Boom, he's got a job. Boom, where he has to work a lot in these strange shifts where he'll be into the gym like 3 days in a row, and then he's at work on like 12 to 15-hour shifts for 5 days. So he hasn't really gotten to get into the gym consistently in the past few weeks. What did he do? He wrote down everything that he's been eating for the last 4 weeks. He brought all 4 of these sheets in so we could look at them right now. And his weight loss over the course of those 4 weeks is, boom, going in the right direction. He's down 12 pounds already. And he's not doing anything on here that's dramatic. Here's the truth. When you see that type of weight loss in that shorter period of time, it's a couple of things. Number 1, you were probably eating really bad before you started. Number 2, you were most likely not exercising. And then number 3, you put the 1, 2, 3 together, you got that synergy, and you get a little bust right in the beginning where you lose a lot of weight like that. Over time, it's going to average out to that 1 to 2 pounds a week, but it's really beautiful when you hold yourself accountable and you follow the directions. It honestly works every single time. It's not some magic trick that I made up. It's just the facts. This is not a quick fix. This is about building a lifestyle. And that leads us to where to start, our topic for today. So, Where to start is with self-awareness. Lots of times people start an exercise protocol. Why? Because they're miserable, because they realize they need to lose weight, or because they have a wedding or an event coming up that they need to get in shape for. Sometimes it takes actually looking in the mirror to be able to say, oh my gosh, where have I been? You know, there's lots of people that I see come into the gym that I ask them, why don't you go find a picture of yourself when you were 20 years old, 18 years old, right? That person is still trapped inside of this body. But like we said, what we do accumulates over time. Now, I was very lucky to have a value system instilled in me at a really young age about how important it is to take care of yourself through physical fitness, right? And throughout some other struggles, or maybe some other pieces of the puzzle, spiritual, mental, and emotional health, that fitness has helped to be a doorway back into that. And, you know, people may find the doorways of mental, spiritual, and emotional health can lead them back to the doorway of fitness. Because if you're feeling sick in your head, or you're feeling sick in your mental game, you're not on, a lot of times it can have a lot to do with your physical fitness, right? But when that awareness goes up, that's where you start, okay? And for us, what I mean by the first steps for you as an exerciser, where to start, would be heighten that awareness. Let's identify and look at the patterns of your life. Have you started and stopped exercise before with a quick fix option? Something that told you were going to lose 30 pounds or 20 pounds, or even lost those 30 pounds or 20 pounds and built them back? Then what you did was a quick fix. And that was not you creating a lifestyle through consistent small steps over time, right? So easiest thing to do, get a simple set of directions and then start to follow them. We offer out food charts. As in regards to our nutrition, I can talk till I'm blue in the face about nutrition, and it damn sure ain't going to make you change what you're doing. So what I suggest for nutrition, which is the number one in the 1, 2, 3, is to do the minimum, which is write everything down you eat. When you write everything down you eat, it gives you the awareness to look at it and start to change. So that's where to start with your food. With your strength training, it's 2 days a week of basic strength training to get results. That's enough, the research shows. So you can make a simple routine out of push-ups, sit-ups, and squats and start doing that at your house, or you can get a trainer to start you off as well. But I don't suggest jumping in 5 workouts a week. That leads to injury whenever you're a newcomer to exercise. With strength training, you need to start with the basics and build a foundation. And same thing with your cardio. 3 days a week, do the minimum, get the awareness of where you're at. If you run sprints and you're about to pass out, then you most likely have, if you haven't done 3 days a week of cardio for the last 3 weeks of at least 20 minutes, then start off in the low zone where you can carry on a conversation and get at least 20 minutes of cardio 3 days a week to build a stronger heart muscle that pumps more blood. On your food chart, you can take notes of, am I doing those minimums in those 1, 2, 3 categories? But that level of awareness that you get, it's what's most important. Think about why it is you came in the first place, to start to change your exercise habits, and because you were miserable, because what you'd been doing hadn't worked. Let go of the steering wheel and let me drive the bus for a little while, and just write down everything that you're doing so you can start to identify those patterns. All right, let me give you a couple more things, because I've seen this on some of the food charts this week. Sometimes when you first start, you'll see ups and downs to your weight loss. Had several girls in the boot camp whose weight actually went up this week, and that's because last week they ate really bad. They carved their faces all day long and had cakes and stuff. And now this week they've introduced more healthy food, but their metabolism is sick, right? And so for right now, what we need to see is consistency. They need to continue to write down what they need. You got to trust the process. Trust yourself. Because remember, I do this because I take care of myself because I love myself. And then that comes by showing over time that I'm willing to take the action steps and allowing them to add up. And that's where, accountability to a coach, accountability to a friend, accountability to yourself through journaling and writing down what you're doing and getting a chance to look at those patterns is where you get an opportunity to really make a change. And for the long term, create a lifestyle of wellness that works for you. And then every once in a while, check in. Make sure that you're where you need to be. So, here we go. We're going to wrap it up for today. Food Chart Fridays. Where to start? Being consistent. Doing something simple with your nutrition. Writing it down. with your strength training, getting that 2 days a week minimum, that 3 days a week of cardio. I'd love to give you some help if you need it. You can message me anytime. I offer one free session. I'm also willing to look at your food regardless. If you want a food chart, email me. I'll send you one out and you can get it done. I'd love to have some comments or questions in the future. And I look forward to seeing you next Friday. Have a great weekend. Much love.